Small business is about courage, risk-taking, independence, and we small business owners are survivors. Everybody has an idea for a business, but how do you take that idea from mind to market? This is the place to learn.
Small Business School with Hattie Bryant.
It's a new kind of school. Together we'll learn about business from the inside out, from the people who've done it. We'll meet the men and women who are today's pioneers and quiet heroes. Their lives are the textbooks. Our classroom is the world. Hi, I'm Hattie Bryant. In a culture where celebrity is often confused with heroism, we believe that the real heroes are in our midst, as close as the store owner next door, the architect across the street, or the realtor around the corner. Every week since 1994, we have told the stories of small business heroes on public television stations everywhere. PBS also has a special feed of this show to all the colleges and universities in the USA. To find the right small business owners to study, we turn to many organizations to help us, and the federal agency, the United States Small Business Administration, the SBA, is one we've turned to because each year they recognize the Small Business Person of the Year from every state in the country. And we have told many of their stories, like Heliodoro Valadez from Texas, Linda Brunini and John Zucchi from Rhode Island, Jerry Shapiro from Missouri, Darby McQuaid from New Mexico, Darlene Jeter from Massachusetts, Ruth Ellen and Jack Miller from Delaware, Judy Jacobson from Washington, Joe Danis from California, Lorraine Miller from Utah, and Cindy McEntee from Oregon. Now, meet some of our newest discoveries. The Small Business Owners of the Year from each state are hosted by the Small Business Administration during its annual Small Business Week in Washington, D.C. Hector Barreto, administrator of the SBA, leads the celebration.
Good afternoon, everyone. Congratulations again on being selected as the top small business person from millions of small businesses in America. I know that the people who work for you, especially those of us in Washington who work for you, are very, very proud of your accomplishments. I want to thank you for everything that you do for small business every day. It is an honor to serve you. And it's an enjoyable...
Here, he announces the national winners. Third runner-up is Mildred Council from North Carolina, founder of the restaurant Mama Dips.
I started out with 18 C's, and so my influences was my customers. The first customer to come in on that Sunday morning, they were my influences because they came back on Monday.
On a Sunday morning in November 1976, Mildred Mama Dip Council opened her restaurant with only $64 in cash and a reputation as a good cook. At the end of the day, she had a profit of $134 and she was in business. Now Mama Dips is a Chapel Hill institution.
But with the 18 seats, I always had a line standing, and I guess my customers started banging on me about why don't I expand, why don't I look for something else and another place, and so I did get 80 more seats added to it by asking the other man could he move and let me have that side, and so he did that, and so then it filled up.
Now, along the way, what did you do when you needed assistance or help?
Well, the small business is in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
And so I called Charlotte, and they sent me what to do, the package, to go to the bank, and then the bank would help me to let me know whether they can loan me any money or whatever it was. So this is how it happened.
I'm really glad you got the help, and we need to let other small businesses know that they can do the same thing. Yeah. So one day they could be as successful as you are, Mama.
Success for Mama Dip now comes through multiple revenue streams. She has sold over 100,000 cookbooks, and there are specialty food items for the do-it-yourself cook. Second runner-up is Belinda Guadarrama, owner of GC Micro.
And we work with computer hardware and software. We're a value-added reseller. We configure systems for our customers. We can put networks together for them. Just about anything you're looking for on the hardware or software side, we can work with.
We asked Belinda why she thought she was named Small Business Person of the Year from the state of California.
In my case, I think it was for a number of reasons. One, I've had the business for 16 years, so we're a successful business, and that's always a good example to use. But probably much more importantly than that is the advocacy work that I do. I do a lot of work for small businesses, for minority-owned businesses, and for women-owned businesses. Within the last probably 10 years, you've had some very good things happening on the affirmative action side of it, but you've also had a number of losses that we've had in terms of the Adirondack decision and what that means to minority businesses and what we can actually work with. And based on that, in order to keep the small business programs as successful as they are, in order to keep the minority business programs, the women business programs, there needs to be someone who's really fighting for these businesses. And if everybody just kind of steps back and waits for the other company to do it, we're going to significantly lose the programs that we have in place. So one of the areas that I've been working with for probably as long as I've had my business is the advocacy side of it, making sure that we're in communication with the Small Business Administration, that with all of our congressional representatives, that we let them know the type of help that we need, whether it's working with the small business subcommittees on the House side, on the Senate side, and letting them know some of the legislation that we're looking for, a number of organizations to actually work through.
Congratulations.
First runner-up is Mary Germain from Wisconsin, founder of BTIO Educational Products.
The whole purpose of the company and the products is to help teenagers make informed decisions about things that will impact them for their entire lives.
Mary Germain demonstrates her invention, the infant simulator, that has already been used to teach over 1 million teens about the responsibility of parenting in an effort to help reduce the alarming rate of teenage pregnancy.
I'm going to put the baby in something called presentation mode, which is what I use when I just kind of want to run her through her paces and show people what she can do. This is not the way the kids would be interacting with the baby. It would be much slower. You know, baby might be quiet for 2 or 3 hours at a time. But since we're doing this, you know, to show people, this will be a much more speeded up version. Okay, I'm going to take this little remote control unit and find presentation, press it. Now I have to touch this to the back of the baby. So I'm going to touch it to the baby. You'll hear a beeping noise to indicate that she's activated. And she's hungry. So now she's feeding. Now if I want to, she'll just make that little sucking noise periodically just so you know that she's doing what she's supposed to do. I'm going to move her on to the next activity, and she's going to cry for a minute because I'm taking the bottle away. But what this will do is end the activity with a little coo. Now she'll be quiet until I want to move her on to the next activity, and in order to do that, I'm just going to do this again. And she's going to want to be burped, so the student would be doing this, and as long as I'm burping, she'll be quiet. If I stop, she'll start to fuss again. And when we're done with that, listen carefully. So that's her burp. I've heard it said that people make decisions on an emotional level, and then they fill in with logic. So I think we get them at a gut level. They really, really understand deep down the challenge and the frustration of being a parent. And generally they say, you know, now that I've been through this, I understand what my parents went through, and I know I'm not ready. It's too soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Small Business Administration proudly selects the Small Business Person of the Year from the beautiful state of Hawaii, Mr. Thang Lam. Please join me in congratulating.
A new American from Vietnam, Mr. Lam arrived in this country in 1979. He is the founder of Bali Sandwich and Bakery. Today, he delivers delicious French bread products to some of the world's largest companies, including the Hilton, Sheraton, Delta, and American Airlines.
I'm very, very happy. Wonderful country. Give me opportunity to work hard because Vietnam is not freedom. I was put in jail for 2 weeks, no reason. One of the Vietnamese officer, government, talked not very nice to the girl live next to my house. Then I told him that that's not very nice to talk to the girl like that. and he put me in jail for 2 weeks.
Like so many immigrants, he found the way to make his dreams come true.
I told my wife that in America, I don't have any skill like professional skill, carpenter or something, and I don't have high education. So the only thing I think may make more money is to own your business. Then I decided to start my business in late 1980. 84, December 1684, we opened the first sandwich in Honolulu, Hawaii. And I started to make my own bread on May 1st, 85.
The goal of Small Business Week is to recognize the contribution business owners make to this country, and there are a swirl of events hosted by agencies and decision makers. The winners enjoy the opportunity to get to know each other. The State Department was the location of this reception, where Deputy Administrator of the SBA, Melanie Sablehouse, speaks with Paul Smith, owner of Paul Reed Smith Guitars and winner from the state of Maryland.
We're going to give 208 guitars away to every high school in Maryland. And we're going to surprise the whole SBA crew on Friday at the Maryland SBA Awards and let everybody, let the superintendent of schools know that she can give an electric guitar to every high school in the state.
Do you know how sensational that is? For Baltimore, for all these young people that admire you.
It should be fun.
It's going to be sensational. Thank you for giving back.
We asked Paul why he thought he won the award.
I was very surprised by it, but when I looked at the criteria of how much we grew and the kind of impact we've had on the market and a lot of charities like with Johns Hopkins that we do, it made sense. But ahead of time, I didn't have any expectation at all. I was very surprised.
One of the great benefits of attending this event is participants are toured through so many important Washington, D.C. places. This congressional luncheon was held in the Dirksen Senate Office Building. The winners dine with their own elected officials.
Sincerely congratulate you,
and some address the group. Here's Senator John Kerry from Massachusetts, Representative Don Mazzullo of Illinois, chair of the House Committee on Small Business, Senator Kit Bond of Missouri, former chair of the Senate Committee on Small Business, and Representative Nydia Velasquez from New York.
Small businesses, and I keep saying this time and time and time and over again, and I want for everyone in the Capitol, for all of my colleagues, to listen to me well. When we speak about small business is big business in America.
Representative Velasquez serves on the House Small Business Committee. She and her colleagues listened intently to many of the winners talk about their personal struggles with starting and growing a business and their particular concern with the government's policies, which can be both a blessing and a burden.
As a small business, GC Micro faced a number of challenges that are common to most small businesses. The lack of capital was a serious problem until I was able to obtain an SBA guaranteed loan. As a woman and a minority, it has been difficult breaking into the established network. However, the federal contracting goals that have been established for small businesses have provided numerous opportunities for us. Unfortunately, there's also no strong mechanism to enforce small business goals. Federal law requires any contractor failing to make a good faith effort to achieve their small business goals to pay liquidated damages back to the government. However, no contractor has ever been penalized with liquidated damages for failing to reach these easily achievable small business goals.
Like many small business owners, we had a vision back in 1994, my sister-in-law and I, of starting a little coffee company. We've sold our coffee kiosks to 150 other individual people, just like myself and my husband. And we impact over 400 hard-working individuals. The ideas, though, come with rules and regulations, and you touched on that in your speech. Not only federal government red tape and rules and regulations can hinder small business, I could go on and on and on. So I would urge you to definitely look into the red tape in small business, because a small business can grow from a really small little dream into a big company. And thank you.
The U.S. Small Business Administration was established in 1953 for the purpose of making it easier for small business owners to get funding. Today, it provides financial, technical, and management assistance to those who want to start, run, and grow a business. It manages a portfolio of business loans, loan guarantees, and disaster loans worth more than $45 billion, in addition to a venture capital portfolio of $13 billion, which makes the SBA the nation's largest financial backer of small businesses. None of us can actually go to the SBA for a loan. If you need money, go to one of your local bankers who are approved by the SBA to make loans, which are then insured by the SBA. The good news is there are banks everywhere in the country that are small business friendly.
Morning.
Good morning. Morning.
Good to see you.
Good to see you again.
Administrator Barreto greets winners on the mall. As head of the SBA, one of Mr. Barreto's primary goals is to educate the country about the services provided by his agency.
So John, do you have a question for me?
As a matter of fact, I do. I got some literature from the SBA, and I was wondering, what is a SBDC?
Well, an SBDC stands for Small Business Development Center.
Okay.
SBA has about 1,200 of these centers all across the United States. Oftentimes they're located in universities or nonprofits. They do a wonderful job. They provide technical assistance and education to small businesses, really help them get to their next level of success. And they do a lot of things. They can help put a business plan together. They can help put a loan package together. They can teach people about marketing and merchandising. How do you hire employees?
That's great, because market plan is a big deal. Loans are the biggest deal. And then if you don't know how to merchandise and reach your clientele, you're out of business.
Monica Morgan, owner of Monica Morgan Photography in Detroit, Michigan, went to the Wayne State University Small Business Development Center when she needed help. Pat Salo was her consultant.
Most small business owners are technicians. They do something very well, and it really is their passion. And Monica Morgan is a prime example of someone following their dream and their passion. Unfortunately, they cannot do everything themselves.
And Pat was looking at me in amazement when I said, look, my problem is not getting business. My problem is maintaining the business. Right. There are so many things, the taxes, the accounting, just all kinds of things that don't even involve photography. And I'm still trying to learn photography.
Now that's where we come in, okay? Because there are methods and procedures and things that can be implemented that will free the artist and the technician like Monica to do what she really should be doing, and that's to be developing her photography.
What did Pat tell you to do to solve your problem?
Pat told me I had to raise my prices. I'm like, Pat, I can't raise prices. I have too much equipment. I have to pay the MasterCard. Pat said, Monica, you've got to raise your prices. And I was a little resistant, but I did. I raised my prices. And I didn't notice a drop in my clientele.
In addition to the small business development centers, there's the Service Corps of Retired Executives who offer free counseling through a program funded by the SBA. Our friend Ken Yancey is the director.
And what our counselors do primarily is help small businesses and those that want to start a small business plan for their success. I think one of the prime questions we get is how to find capital. As everyone knows, access to capital is quite an issue for small business. We work diligently to help our clients prepare packages, prepare their documentation and information to go to the various sources that are available. We offer in most of our locations a variety of workshops, the most popular being a pre-business workshop or new to business workshop. Those workshops are very low cost. I think an average is probably less than $15, and certainly the value is much greater than that.
different agencies.
In 1995, I met Jim Van Wert in his office at the SBA. He had already started making help available to small business owners online. He explains that small business owners must embrace technology.
We're moving more and more to paying electronically. Last week I authorized payment for a contract that we had here at SBA. We were running very close to the 30-day Prompt Payment Act, and I authorized electronic payments. That's supposed to become the norm, not the exception, where one bank will transfer, that is the Federal Reserve, will transfer funds to your account if you're the small business person. And that's fantastic because it's cash flow. And that means lower costs. It means you can be more productive. You can use your people's time, your own time more effectively, and that's the advantage. And time is critical.
Today, Jim's business advisor, located at business.gov, is powerful and a most useful place for smart people who want to research before they start a business. And seasoned business owners can find links to all government agencies, contract opportunities, and more.
Million in sales, and his goal is
Pat and Skip Yeoman, winners from Mississippi, talk with Administrator Barreto.
And we are expanding our business, moving into a larger location, so perhaps we would need financing again or something along that line, or advice on how, as we grow, that it could help us.
Absolutely, Pat. You know, one of the things that the SBA does is we do real estate loans, and those are called 504 loans. And we can help a business either buy a new building or refurbish a new building or buy equipment. A lot of small businesses don't know about that program.
With an SBA-backed real estate loan, Gary Walls, owner of Trailblazer Foods in Portland, Oregon, was able to build a brand new building to expand his manufacturing effort. He makes jams and jellies from Oregon-grown berries. Grace Sushikawa was stuck in her basement before she found out about how to go after an SBA-backed loan.
I started in the basement of my home just sort of as an art project, right, while I was still employed. And people became interested, friends, relatives started buying my experiments. And I mean, that got to be, you know, pretty exciting. And
Because
so I
you
thought,
created
well,
something and someone actually gave you money for it.
Yes.
You went, whoa, this is good.
Yes, this is good. But I was quite naive about, you know, actually making it happen, you know, having it be a business. So after being turned down by a dozen banks, I was talking to a friend whose brother was a accountant. And he said, well, why don't you go to the Small Business Administration?
Hey.
I said, hey, what a good idea.
Access to capital is vital, and we have a lot of different programs. There are a lot of different lending programs, whether you're a startup or a very sophisticated company that's ready to go public. We need to continue to do technical assistance and education. That's really a leveler of the playing field. That is so, so important. We want to make sure that we're helping companies facilitate contracts with the federal government, and not just the federal government, but the private sector as well. We want to advocate on behalf of them, especially on issues that are important to them, like healthcare, regulation, taxes. So we're a big advocate right now, and we want to make sure that we're transforming our organization to be a modern, technology-driven organization that is very customer service friendly. Those are the 5 big priorities for us.
You can learn more by dialing You Ask SBA or by going to sba.gov. The monuments provide a fitting backdrop to honor the men and women who play such an important role in the creation of wealth and work. All of these amazing people more than deserve to be here, but you can feel that they are in awe. They are humbled to be selected. We say thanks to these particular small business owners who represent all of us who own our own businesses for their courage and passion, which is what it takes to build something from nothing. In a culture where celebrity is often confused with heroism, we believe the real heroes are in our midst, as close as the store owner next door, the architect across the street, or the realtor around the corner, and the Small Business Administration agrees. We'll see you next time.
Small Business School with Hattie Bryant.
If you want to learn more about starting, running, and growing a business, come to our website, smallbusinessschool.org. There are streaming video and interactive study guides. The only way we can compete with big business is to be faster, smarter, and better. We are the engine of the American economy. We create the jobs. Small business is about big commitment. It's about sacrifice and struggle. But we do it because we say, if I don't do this, my life won't be complete.